step 3 is to measure separately the feeling of each of those goals. So I'm going to bring up the chart here. So what I want you to do, and this is going to be your homework, please don't do it now because you won't be listening to me as you're doing it. I need something for all 10. I will tell you this, I don't want an 11, I don't want a 15, I want 10. I don't want 9, I don't want 6, I want 10. So if it doesn't reach the criteria of something that you want to do, be, or have that you're completely enthusiastic about, I don't want to see it on the list. If you want a new car and that's something that you've never done before and that's something that you want to do, yeah, it belongs on the list. If there are other things that are more important than that, those things belong on the list. Not important to others, how would it make me feel? For example, I remember originally I always drove beaters, and now that I don't, and there's ways to fill the whole void in the universe, look after the one as if it were a new one, that kind of stuff. It was on my list. It wasn't at the top of the list, and I don't want you to order them right now. I just want you to put 10. I don't care what order they're in. I just need to know, are these the top 10 things that I want to do, be, or have? You with me? Okay, very important. And I know that I'm a real stickler for detail. I think clarity is power. I think as clear as I can possibly be, that's as powerful as it. And by the way, if you've got a better idea, that's the only reason that this entire thing won't work. The only reason this won't work is your better idea. So why don't you just go with it for now? And once you've figured it out and once you've done it, then you can tell me that it was a good idea or not a good idea. But don't go and change the rules, because these are the rules that were given to me. Does that make sense? I'm a really good rule follower. When they taught me to play the piano, I didn't go, yeah, I don't think that's correct. I think you should play mostly black notes and leave the white ones alone. I didn't do that because I didn't have enough experience to do that. If you don't have enough experience on how to become affluent or do, be, or have whatever you want in your life, then you need to follow the rules. Is that clear? I hope so. That's step 2. Step 3 is your homework. So this is what we call the intensity scale, or the true heart's desire intensity scale. If in my heart I could picture myself arriving, how do I measure that? So the list of desires goes down here. So if you wrote them on your thing, 1 through 10, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? You don't need to write them out down here. Just put 1 through 10. This, however, is like the Richter scale. I think I spelt that correctly. What does the Richter scale measure? Does anybody know? So the Richter scale measures seismic activity based on energy. How much energy does that volcano or eruption or earthquake have? And it's pure energy. So they're basically measuring energy. What you may not realize is that on the Richter scale, every time you go up 1 on the Richter scale, it's twice as much as the previous number. So 2 is twice as big as 1, 3 is twice as big as 2, 4 is twice as big as 3, and so it doubles every time you go up the scale. So by the time you get to 10, no more Earth. The Earth is gone. So typically, we hear about earthquakes when they measure usually between 5 and 7. Anytime we get above 7, which is an extremely rare occasion, everybody knows. The entire Earth knows. So what I'm talking about here is if you put it as a 10, that means that is a life-altering, life-ending, or life beginning, if you want to look at it like that. Wherever there's a beginning, there's also an end. Beginning of the end. If you put 10, that's huge. you can't have more than one or two of those. That's not even possible. For example, a new car, that's not, I don't know. Unless you're a race car driver and you want a new Formula One car, and that's going to make the difference between winning and losing the Grand Prix or the World Championship, then sure, go right ahead. But I don't know if any of us are even in that position. So a new car for most of us is like, yeah, I'll get that on the way to my I get that anyway on my way to becoming something. So your mission, should you choose to accept it for the next week, is to get all 10 onto this scale, and they're probably going to be all different numbers. So if your first desire was a car, that put a 0 around, or put a little dot on the 4, 7, 9, whatever. They're probably all going to be different numbers. I've seen people have 10s all the way across the top. That's not possible. And I'll tell you why it's not possible. If you looked at all 10, one of them would be higher in want or do or be or have intrinsically than another one. So put that one down. That's just the way it is. You can't want 10 things equally. It's not possible. Okay. That brings us to step 4.